From News and Information 570 AM, this is the Stinchfield Report.
When you play high school football, it's supposed to teach you how to be a man, how to be an upstanding citizen, how to work hard to win. But football, if you've ever played football or been around football, it's all about life and life's lessons. And it's supposed to lift kids up. Instead, I watched this video of these two defensive backs for the San Antonio High School utterly bone-crushing, destroying this poor official. I don't care what he may have happened to say or do, or if there was a bad call, or if he said something that the kids didn't like. I don't care. You could have killed this official. And I want to know two things. What are the coaches doing to ensure something like this doesn't happen? What kind of values are the coaches instilling in their players that these players think it's okay to act like that on the field? The coaches have culpability in this. And what about the parents? I'm going to tell you, I played high school football. I played college football. If I would have done anything like this, my father's a young guy. I'm 46. My father's 70, so he's a young guy. So when I was, playing football, he was in his 40s. He would have come out of the stands, onto the field. I don't care how big a stadium it was. He would have hauled me off by my face mask, and he probably would have called over the sheriff's deputy at the game and put me in handcuffs. That's my father. Forget about what my coach would have done. My coach would have had me in jail too. It's just as unacceptable. So now what happens to these kids? I believe they should be charged criminally. Can they? I believe they can, but I'm not an attorney. Nicole Knox is with the law office of Nicole Knox. Listen, you can't have a law office unless you're an attorney. Right, Nicole Knox?
Right.
That's right. Hey, thank you for coming back on my show.
Yeah, of course. Glad to be here.
So tell me, what could ultimately these two kids face?
I think the most obvious offense they could potentially be charged with is assault. You have an interesting relationship here where you don't usually contemplate whether students or players are going to assault an official in the game. So I don't think that's been contemplated by the code, but it does allow for that.
All right, so you have the ages of the kids as well. Does it play into whether they're adults or minors? So, and I don't have the exact ages, but the second player to hit the official is a senior. So I'm going to believe he's 17 or above. The first player, which was the most devastating hit, which was a bone-crushing blow, which I think could have killed this official, he's a sophomore, so he's probably not 17. How does that play into what they could be charged with?
Sure. So because assault in this case would likely be a misdemeanor, if the 17-year-old, assuming he's 17, is charged, then he would be charged as an adult under the Texas Penal Code. The effect of that is that it's going to follow him on his record for a while. Even if it's dismissed or he's found not guilty at the outset, it's going to show up as a charge against the 17-year-old as if he were 45 years old, or the same way as if he were a grown adult. The 15-year-old would be charged as a juvenile because Texas doesn't allow for criminal charges to be brought on a misdemeanor offense as a juvenile, and the real effect of that is that the 15-year-old would be able to protect his record a little bit better and probably be rehabilitated easier.
And so could there be jail time, or in the case of the 15-year-old, juvenile detention?
I don't practice juvenile law every day. However, I expect that what would happen in a juvenile situation is that they would, if he were charged and then a plea agreement was worked out or he were punished by a judge, that they would, engage in something like an apology letter, some community service, some sort of rehabilitation to correct the mindset of someone who would be charged of this offense.
See, what's hard for me to grasp here on this is the fact that, I'm telling you, Nicole, he could have killed this official. I mean, he came in from the back. He could have snapped his neck. And to write a letter of an apology, or what, it just seems to me not sufficient enough.
I agree with you. It's frightening. I think the most frightening part about this story is that he was blindsided. They blindsided the referee. That's scary, and you're right. That could cause severe damage to someone, injury. However, the idea, the policy behind not charging 15-year-olds as an adult in the criminal system for a misdemeanor is that their brains aren't fully developed, they're not fully aware of what they're doing, and they shouldn't be treated the same way as if they were grown adults. That's the reason for the law. And
so is there any situation to take this, could it be felony assault?
For it to be felony assault in this situation, there would have to be a deadly weapon or serious bodily injury. But in Texas, anything can be a deadly weapon if it's used in that manner and means. So a helmet could be a deadly weapon, hands can be a deadly weapon, your body can be a deadly weapon. It's going to all reflect or go back to the intent of the accused at the time of the offense.
And so that was my response was look, this kid's wearing shoulder pads and a helmet. Lord knows this helmet could be deadly. Do you think this is what, I mean, there's not much of an investigation that has to be done here. I mean, look, it's all captured on video. It happened in an instant. We know they took him out. So I'm sure the police are talking with prosecutors. What do you think that conversation sounds like?
Wouldn't we all like to know?
Yeah, right.
I think that you have two really interesting social issues going on right here, which are race and the use of video to capture evidence that is being captured by your everyday citizen, and then posted on YouTube. And so that creates, from a video perspective, as a criminal defense attorney, the first thing I think is this overly prejudicial? Is there a way that this could be used to, when there's 7 million hits on a YouTube video, to think that, oh gosh, there's no explanation for this? And when you have a crime that's based on the intent of the accused, what we don't know from the video is what they were thinking. And that's what this is all going to come back to. I'm not saying that
ultimately, though,
or it's... I'm sorry.
So ultimately, though, I don't believe the kids wanted to kill the referee. I mean, I don't believe that. But I do think they wanted to send a message to this official. And whether that message was to injure him or just let him know, hey, you can't make calls like this or you can't use racial slurs, whatever it may have been, they were trying to send him a message. Does it matter what they were thinking, because they still put that official in harm's way? Isn't that all the prosecution has to approve? Is your actions put this official in harm's way?
Definitely depends on what they're charged with. If they're charged with using a deadly weapon to bring harm to the referee, then that's going to be a higher burden to prove. If they're just charged with intentionally or knowingly threatening an official or recklessly causing bodily injury, those are all misdemeanors. So the act itself could possibly be enough for a misdemeanor charge.
I mean, to me, this is the equivalent of walking up behind somebody in a bar and hitting them over the head with an empty beer bottle.
I hear what you're saying. The being blindsided is terrifying, especially with the message that it sends to kids who are playing football in the state of Texas and the power that would give to them. But we all know that it's a different mindset here, and that we take football seriously. It'll be interesting to see how that plays in. It's a scary situation. It's interesting that this was caught on video, and it's interesting how it came about.
Yeah, it sure is. Hey, Nicole Knox, as always, we appreciate your insight. Nicole Knox, Law Office, and we hope to get you on again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, sounds good. Look, I promise you, the prosecutor and the police officer investigating this are going through every little bit. Now, they will interview these. I would imagine they would want to interview these players, and I'd be shocked if they didn't interview these players right after the game to try to get what was in their mindset. Who was teaching them what? From the coach's standpoint, what did the coaches say before this happened? But in the end, they put this official in harm's way, and something needs to happen in the criminal justice system. All right, I'm Grant Stinchfield. This is the Stinchfield Report.